Good morning, everyone. It's a Monday morning here in the Triangle area in Apex, and very thankful to be a part of this Monday. It's refreshing to be outside early. Hear the rooster crowing in the back. You might hear him during the video. And a little cooler today. Reminder that fall is coming and change in seasons, and change in seasons always reminds us that God is in control no matter what is going on in our world, that God is above the nations and God is in control of the nations and in control of our world that we live in. And one day His will be done on earth as it is in heaven, as He creates a new heaven and a new earth, and that we get to be a part of that. Today is a short psalm, Psalm 73, that we pray together, and we're going to talk about being thankful today and also not judging. Let's read. Father in heaven, we give thanks to you, O God. We give thanks for your name is near. We recount your wondrous deeds. At a time that I will appoint, God says, I will judge with equity. When the earth totters and all its inhabitants, it is I who keep it steady and keep steady its pillars. I say to the boastful, do not boast, and to the wicked, do not lift up your horn. Do not lift up your horn on high, or speak with haughty words. For now from the east or from the west, for not from the east or from the west, and not from the wilderness comes lifting up, but it is God who executes judgment, putting down one and lifting up another. For in the hand of the Lord there's a cup, with foaming wine well mixed, and he pours out from it, and all the wicked of the earth shall drain it down to its dregs. But I will declare it forever. I will sing praises to the God of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked I will cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be lifted up. The other day, I was talking to one of our dear sisters, Sabine Mass, and we were talking about the pandemic and talking about obviously the world that we live in and the need to learn more about our history and our culture. I believe she's from the Netherlands. Here I am from a little small town, North Carolina. Just how much I can learn from her. And I asked her, as a doctor, anything you can pass on to me that would be helpful in my coaching or helpful to people as I do these psalms and as I meet with people to try to help them figure out life right now. And I think about this verse when I think about her. We give thanks to you, O God. We give thanks for your name is near. We recount your wondrous deeds. And she introduced me to what she called the three blessings, or the three good things, and how that if people that keep a journal, like a lot of us do in the mornings, we write down maybe a verse that we want to take with us, or thought from what we're reading, or I think there's over 100 of us at Triangle that continue to read the Psalms and talk about it and pray about it with each other. She said that one of the things that they've learned at night, before going to bed, if you take the last 30 minutes of your day, 20 minutes of your day, and rather than have screen time or TV time or social media time, that you take your journal and go, what were three good things that happened today? They don't have to be great things. They just need to be three blessings. There's times when I look back and I write down my time on my back porch, my time with my grandkids, the dinner that my wife fixed, a friendship that I had that someone called that day, or maybe I was fortunate enough for somebody to come by and sit on the gazebo, or I was able to meet them at the church pavilion or somewhere outside. The ability to walk during a day and enjoy nature, to see our garden grow, just little things. And the idea of our cortisone levels changing, I believe going down, don't quote me on that, I'm not a doctor, but the idea that over a 20 to 30 day habit of doing that actually you're much healthier and you actually sleep better. And I was thinking, here's the advantage of that gratitude list again, but done at night before going to bed. And I really appreciate Sabine bringing that up to me, because this psalm is a psalm about giving thanks while God gives judgment. I think a lot of times we switch that. We want to give judgment and we want God to thank us. So I want you to meditate on today how many times as you think through this week, do you give thanks or do you judge? And the number of times should be much greater that we are thankful. We really want to judge. Why do we not want to pass judgment? As it says, God here judges with equity. Well, one of the reasons is that statement. Sometimes it's very hard to make a judgment with equity. We don't know what the other person's going through. We don't know all the facts. Our emotional attachment to a situation blurs our ability cognitively in our brain to really think things through clearly. We see things with rose-colored glasses, and we obviously are taught to treat others as we would be wanted to be treated ourselves, the golden rule. I think about in my past, and as we've grown, and I think one of the reasons elders are older people, one, we tend to have a lot of experience as shepherds and as older men and women, and those of us where the older women are to encourage the younger women. So both older men and women, I think one of the reasons is experience. So I'll leave you with this thought today, a little shorter devotional this morning, but something to think about. I remember growing up pointing out in other denominations how that elders in our church, as overseers, as wise men, as people who model and lead and set the example of shepherding to our church, are always plural, and how that we need to make sure as we teach in our world that pastoring is a plurality, and we do not believe in a one pastor system. And now I look back in my years of being in the ministry, 40 plus years, and thinking about doing some new things in my life coming up next year as I'm older and have grandkids, and realize that very easy for me to point my finger at other people and their one pastor system and not realize in many of our churches we have what we call a lead evangelist. And there's nothing wrong with having a leader, nothing wrong with having a quarterback of a team. What's altogether wrong is to realize that we tend to judge others on a one pastor system, and we end up having a leader at times in many of our churches that is the one leader, and is not working together well with the pastors who are in our church, which really is not the lead evangelist, kind of a term we've made up. Actually, evangelist is a word for someone who does evangelize and who works within a church system with deacons and elders that oversee. So I use that as an example to go, we be careful how we judge. It's very easy to put on our rose-colored glasses and look at others and not see ourselves. There are many, many examples of that. That was on my mind this morning. I would encourage us to always look in our Bibles and to realize that as we build a relationship with God, it's always a journey. And so today, as we sum up, what is God trying to tell us? He's trying to tell us to focus on being thankful in our prayers. He's asking us and encouraging us to not judge and to not to get that backwards, that we tend to judge more often and be thankful a little bit less. Our life would change if we are much more thankful and judge a little bit less, especially as we look at others and rather than look at ourselves. I would encourage us during this pandemic, and encourage us as we continue to make changes and to see growth in ourselves, to realize that that's why it's all up to God to save us and to care for us and to take care of us. And it's up for us to respond in love and mercy and kindness and compassion, always being honest, always being wholehearted, always living a life of integrity, but obviously a legacy that is carried on through the fruit of the Spirit and the Beatitudes of being peacemakers, of being humble, of being meek, of being righteous, being pure in heart, and willing to stand up to our enemies, not with hate, but with love, and to love those that are not like us. I hope this helps you this week. May God bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you. May he give you peace. And may the joy of your presence bring satisfaction to your God. And may the joy of our God bring satisfaction to us. We'll see you next week.